Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And everyone, my name is Marwia. Here I want to explain about the philosophy of science and research methodology. Science, as recognized, it seems to have begun with the ancient Greeks. The history of science from the ancient Greeks to the present is the history of the one compartment of philosophy. After another breaking away from philosophy and emerging as a separate discipline in considering a working definition of philosophy. Suppose one holds that in fact there are one questions that the sciences cannot now or can't ever answer. Philosophy is a hard discipline to define precisely, but the heterogeneous issues with which it deals have in common a relationship to science. Philosophy has a better claim than other disciplines to be allowed to give an initial answer to the question of what science consists of. Philosophy has a better claim than other disciplines to be allowed to give an initial answer to the question of what science consists of. Traditional philosophy of science seeks a checklist of conditions that any scientific explanation should satisfy, and explicit definition gives the necessary and sufficient condition for a thing, event, state, process. A property to be an instance of the term defined. For example, triangle is explicitly defined as a plane figure having three sides. Some philosophers seek an objective relationship between explanandum and explanans because they hold that science is constituted but truths about the world which obtain independently of all recognition, and which we set out to uncover. This analysis of scientific explanation associated most closely with Carla G. Hempel, the philosopher who did the most to expound and define it, came to be called the deductive nomological model, nomological from the Greek nomos meaning lawful. In Hempel's original version, the requirements on deductive nomological explanation were as follows. Number one, the explanation must be a valid deductive argument. Number two, the explanations must contain at least one general law actually needed in the deduction. Number three, the explanations must be empirically testable. And the last, the sentences in the explanations must be true. The next scientific explanation and its content. Scientific is relating to science, natural, exhibiting the methods or principle of science. An explanation is a set of statements usually constructed to describe a set of of facts which clarifies the cause, context, and consequences of those uh, facts. A scientific explanation is a way of explaining something we see in the natural world that's based on observations and measurements. Theories of explanation, deductive, nomological models, statistical relevance model, a unificatness model, and pragmatic theory of explanation. And then quantitative research methodology. Definition of quantitative method according to Aliaga and Gunderson in Tefaker 2017 state the quantitative research methods as the explaining of an issue of phenomenon through gathering data in numeral from an analysis with the aid of mathematical methods, in particular statistics, essential characteristic of experimental research, comparison of groups, manipulation of the independent variable, and randomization. Types of quantitative research method: survey research, correlation research, causal comparative, or quasi-experimental research, and experimental research. Steps of conducting quantitative research: theory, hypothesis, research design, data collection, processing data, and data analysis, and findings and conclusion. Quantitative data analysis methods: descriptive statistics, inferential statistics, and testing hypothesis. The next qualitative research methodology. Qualitative research methodology, according to Frankel 2007, define qualitative research studies that investigate the quality of relationship, activities, situations, or materials. It is described by its aims, methodology, and the kind of data collected to understand the different phases of spatial life. When researchers undertake a qualitative study, they are in effect agreeing to its underlying philosophical assumptions while bringing to the study their own worldview that in observing the direction of their research. Criswell describes the following for philosophical assumption: ontological, the nature of reality; epistemological, how researchers know what they know; and then axiological, the role of values in research; and methodology, the methods used in the process of research. Step in qualitative research: prepare and organize your data, review and explore your data, develop a data coding system, and assign codes to the data. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.